All right, hope everybody's doing okay. Friday, April 24th, quantitative reasoning. Probability of two events again. We're going to focus on dice rolling with Yahtzee. Reminder again, if there's two events happening, it's the probability of one and the other. If they both have to happen, then you take the probability of one times the probability of the other. That's if you want them both to happen. If you just want one or the other to happen, it's the probability of the first one to happen plus the probability of the second one to happen. Reminder, just probability in general. Number of options you want to have happen divided by the number of total possibilities there are. How many things would I be happy with occurring divided by the total number of possibilities? And then for the probability of one or the other, always ask yourself, do I want both to happen or do I want one or the other? If you want both things to occur, then you're going to do the multiplication. If you want one or the other to occur, then you're going to do the addition. Okay. A circle means, this is just a Yahtzee thing for me putting on paper. If I circle it, that means you want to re-roll that die. Okay. So for example, here on the first problem, you roll 5 dice. You end up with a 2, 3 threes, and a 5. In Yahtzee, as you hopefully know, 3 of a kind is really what you want or more. So I'm going to keep the 3 threes and re-roll the 2 and the 5. That's why I circled the 2 and the 5, meaning those are the ones I'm going to re-roll. Okay. Now I'm going to pick those two up. So here's what I have. I'm going to take these two out. And I'm going to re-roll those. I'm going to re-roll these two. Okay. What's the probability that I can get a Yahtzee on the next roll? Meaning, what's the probability that both of these are going to be a 3 when I re-roll them? Okay. Okay. Boom. It did not happen. That does not surprise you, I hope, because the probability of getting a 3 on both of those, well, on this die, the probability is 1 out of 6. On the second die, the probability was 1 out of 6. And since I wanted a Yahtzee, it had to happen on both of them. Therefore, it was a 1/6 times 1/6. You're not going to roll one more time and get 3s on both of those very often. Probability says it's only going to happen 1 out of every 36 times. Okay? So it's the probability I get a 3 on the first one. Well, there's only 1 3 on this die. Times the probability I get a 3 on this one, which is 1 out of 3. So I only have a 1 in 36 chance of getting a Yahtzee on the next roll. Now I realize in Yahtzee you officially get 2 more rolls, but I don't want to get into that because that makes one roll dependent on the other roll. Okay, next problem. I'm doing examples. I'm going to do the left side examples, and your job is to do the right side in a moment. Okay, the first roll. I rolled a 2, 3, 4, 5, and 3. Okay, so when I rolled, I got a 2, 3, 4, 5, 3. Well, hopefully if you've played Yahtzee or you reminded yourself how to play Yahtzee, there is something called a large straight. This is already a small straight. A small straight is 4 in a row, but a large straight is 5 in a row. So what I'm deciding to do is I'm going to re-roll this die. That's why I circled it. Okay, the circled one means I'm going to re-roll it. And what's the probability I get a large straight? Well, the nice part about this large straight is I can either get a 1 or a 6. So I have 2 chances. There are 2 things on this die I would want to roll. I'm okay rolling a 1 or a 6 because there's a chance either side to create the large straight. So I have 2 out of 6 chances. There's only 1 die, so there's only 1 roll. This is not a double event. This is just a single event because it's 1 die being rolled. And then that would reduce to a 1/3. Okay. Now, what's the probability that I rolled twice? Remember, you get 2 chances for this one die. What's probably get a large straight on the first or second roll? Well, the probability on the first roll is 1 out of 3. The probability on the second roll is still 1 out of 3. And it's one or the other. I'll take a 3 on the first roll. I'm sorry, a 1 or 6 on the first roll or the second roll. So you have a 2 out of 3 chance of trying to get a large straight here. Let's see if it works for me. Remember, 2 out of 3 is still not certain. 2 out of 3. So let's see if I can roll. I got a 2. Bummer. So I had a 1 in 3 chance. Now I'm going to roll a second time because you get to roll 3 times in Yahtzee. And boom. I did not get the large straight. There was no guarantee I was going to. There was a pretty good chance, a 2 out of 3 or 67% chance. But again, probability doesn't mean certainty. It's just what could possibly happen. Okay, so again, I want to re-roll a 3. I want a 1 or a 6. So I have 2 chances out of 6. Remember, it's number of options I want. So there are 2 options I want out of 6 possible options, or reduces to 1/3. I'm going to leave my answers as fractions instead of changing them to decimals. Okay, now this is a little more typical. In Yahtzee, you roll and you get 3 1s, a 5, and a 3. You decide you're going to keep the 1s and re-roll the 3 and the 5. What's the probability I roll a 4th 1? Well, the probability of rolling a 1 on this die is 1 out of 6. The probability I roll a 1 on this die is also 1 out of 6. And since I only want a 4th one, it's 1 or the other. So 1 or the other is adding. So that would be 2 out of 6 or a 1/3 probability. And then the next question, question 8 is, okay, let's say I want to get a Yahtzee on the very next roll. Not 2 rolls, but next roll. Well, if I only want 1 4, it's 1 or the other. If I want a Yahtzee, then it's got to be a 1 out of 6 on the first die, a 1 out of 6 on the next die, and since I want it on both, okay, remember both is a multiplication problem. Here I just wanted a 1 on 1 or the other. Here I want a 1 on both, so the chances of that happening are a lot less on the very next roll. Okay, there's still a less than 50% chance you'll get a 1 on one of them. There's a much less chance of getting a 1 on both of them. Okay, I hope this helps. Your assignment is going to be the right side. Remember, circled means I'm going to re-roll those 2 die. Questions 5 and 6. And questions 9 and 10. 9 and 10 is a little more difficult. You got to read through it carefully. Okay. I'll just do a quick explanation here. Basically, you roll the die and nothing really great happened. You've already got your straight, so you say, I'm just going to keep the 6 and re-roll 4 of them. Okay, only keep the 6 and re-roll the other 4. And then you roll, what's the probability I roll at least 1 more 6? I want to roll a 6 on either of these guys. Okay. And then what ends up happening is you roll and you didn't get a 6. You kept this 6. You roll and got a 1, 4, 4, 5. You didn't get a 6 on any of them. So now you basically change your mind and switch to 4s. I'm going to keep the 2 4s and re-roll these 3. What's the probability I get 1 more 4 in order to try to get 3 4s? Okay. If you have any questions, email me. I strongly suggest you get 5 die out and physically feel, see, and touch, and it might help you understand the problem a little bit better. Have a good weekend. Chances are a few of you aren't going to do this till Sunday night, so I hope you had a good weekend. Bye.